We just saw a report with 9.1% inflation, worst numbers in 40 years, in large part driven by the high price of gasoline. We've got bills to alleviate that problem that families are facing. And I'll start with H.R. 7285 by Mr. Carl. This is the Unleashing American Energy Act. It requires the Secretary of Interior to conduct a minimum number of oil and gas lease sales so that we can get back to producing more energy here. H.R. 7292 by Garrett Graves. This is the Securing American Energy and Investing in Resiliency Act, requires the Secretary of Interior to conduct all oil and gas lease sales that under current law he's supposed to be doing, but the President's not in compliance with existing law on that. H.R. 7293, the Energy Permitting Certainty Act by Ms. Harrell. This requires the Secretary of Interior to process applications for a permit to drill. It doesn't tell the Secretary what determination they have to give, but it gives them a shot clock, just like they give to businesses. When they tell the business, you have to give us an answer on something, it's by a certain date, yet when the permits are submitted, the applications are submitted, the agency just ignores it, just doesn't do their job. Let's get an answer. Yes or no, let's get an answer and back it up with facts. That's what this bill requires. H.R. 7298, which is the Promoting Energy Independence and Transparency Act by Mr. Moore from Utah. This requires the Secretary of Interior to submit a report on expressions of interest and applications for permits to drill and requires the publication of data on expressions of interest and applications on permits to drill. H.R. 7304, the Restore Onshore Energy Production Act by Mr. Rosendale. This requires the Secretary of Interior to immediately resume onshore oil and gas lease sales. Let us have an opportunity to utilize our natural resources to lower the price of gas. H.R. 751, Protecting American Energy Production Act by Mr. Duncan. This prohibits any declaration of a moratorium on the use of hydraulic fracturing, which again has been a threat by this administration on a very efficient, clean source of energy that America could produce, but right now is being dramatically limited. And finally, H.R. 1616, Promoting Interagency Coordination for Review of Natural Gas Pipelines Act by Dr. Burgess. This provides for federal and state agency coordination in the approval of certain authorizations under the Natural Gas Act for the critical infrastructure of pipelines to move energy throughout America, so we don't have to get it from tankers from foreign countries, many of them hostile to America. With that, I'd be happy to yield to see if we could get some consideration next week of some of those bills, if not all.